Good afternoon, students. In the series of literary terms, today we will discuss about some literary terms. So let's start. First, we talk about acrostic. Acrostic is a poem in which the first or last letters of each line vertically form a word, phrase, or sentence. So this is a poem in which the first or last letters of each line form a word, phrase, or a sentence. Apart from puzzles in newspapers and magazines, the most common modern versions involve the first letters of each line forming a single word when we read downwards. An acrostic that involves the sequential letters of the alphabet is said to be ABC, ABEC, abecedarious, or and abecedarian poem. So this is another form of acrostic. An acrostic that involves the sequential letters of the alphabet is said to be abecedarious or an abecedarian poem. Acrostic may have first been used as a mnemonic device to aid with oral transmission. In the Old Testament, some of the Hebrew Psalms include acrostic devices. Chaucer also wrote acrostics such as his ABC prior a Nostradam in his younger days. Acrostics are also common in Kabbalistic charms and word squares, including the Syrian sister word square of Roman origin. Abecedarian acrostics were also a common genre in classical Hebrew poetry. For instance, Psalm 118 in the Doi reigns the numbering of the Bible, or number 119 in the King James numbering of the Bible is an abecedarian acrostic, with each stanza headed by one of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet, such as alpha, beta, gamma, and so on. Similar acrostics appears in Lamentations 3. Renaissance examples of acrostic poetry include the preface to Ben Jonson's The Alchemist. In a poem is built so that the last letters in each line form a word rather than the first. Poem is called telestitch. So this is another subgenre of acrostic poem when we form a phrase or a word from the last letters of the lines of a poem that is called telestitch. Telestitch. So there are the last letters form, so then it is called telestitch, and the first letters makes a phrase or a word or a sentence, it is called acrostic. And when we find a sequence of alphabet, it is called abecedarian poem. And Chaucer also used this genre. Old Testament, there are so many Hebrew Psalms who are acrostic. So this is all about acrostic. Now we talk about act. Act is a major division in a play. Often, individual acts divided into smaller units, scenes that will take place in a specific location. Originally, Greek plays were not divided into acts, they took place as a single hood interrupted occasionally by the chorus singing. In Roman times, a five-act Originally, Greek plays were not divided into acts, they took place as a single whole, interrupted occasionally by the chorus singing. In Roman times, a five-act structure first appeared based upon Horace's recommendations. This five-act structure became a convention of drama and especially for tragedy during the Renaissance. Shakespeare's plays have natural division that can be taken as the breaks between acts as well. Later editors inserted clear act and seat markings into these locations. From about 1650 CE onward, most plays followed the five-act model. In the 1800s, Ibsen and Chekhov favored a four-act play. In the 1900s, most playwrights preferred a three-act model, though two-act plays are not uncommon. So, acts first used in Roman times. Five-act structure became convention of a drama and especially tragedy. During the Renaissance period, it became very famous, and after that, five-act model was also 1650 followed the five-act model. In 1800s, Ibsen and Chekhov favored a four-act play, and in the 1900s, most playwrights preferred a three-act model, and though the two-act plays are not uncommon. So we can say that we are returning and the acts in the chronological order decreasing. Okay. So this is all about the act. Act is a part of a play, and a play has been is divided in the acts, and the acts are divided into the scenes. And before Roman times, in the Greek plays, there were no acts. There were chorus singings only for a break. Action. A real or fictional event or series of such events comprising the subject of a novel, story, narrative poem, or a play. So this is real or fictional event or a series of such events comprising the subject of a novel, story, narrative poem, or a play, especially in the sense of what the characters do in such a narrative action along with dialogue and the characters' thoughts from the skeleton of a narrative's plot. Acute accent, a diacritical mark indicating primary stress. Acute accent is a diacritical mark indicating primary stress. Aciron, AcYron, Aciron, the improper or odd application of a word such as speaking of streams of grasses, Shipley 5, when the result is humorous or deliberately absurd, the acidont becomes a malapropism. So, assurant is improper or odd application of a word for the purpose of humor. Adage, a proverb or wise saying. Adage, the act of speaking or writing in adages. So adage means when we act of speaking or writing by using so many adages. When we converse through the proverbs, then it is called adage. And very important literary term, adaptation. Taking material from an older source and altering it or updating it in a new genre. Taking material from an older source and altering it or updating it in a new genre. For instance, John Webster's The Duchess of Malfi is a play adapted from an older Italian novella. Maybe of Shakespeare's history plays are adaptations of Holinshed's Chronicles, etc. For modern artists, if the adaptation's source is unacknowledged, the adaptation may constitute plagiarism under modern conventions. This is contrasted with acrostic. So we can say adaptation to taking the old genre into the new forms or altering it in some other way. Additive monster. In contrast with the composite monster, mythological and folklorists use the label additive monster to describe a creature from mythology or legend that has an altered number of body parts rather than body parts from multiple animals added together. For instance, Scandinavian Atin, a troll or a giant with two heads, is an additive monster. Sleep Ed. So here you would be able to find the body parts in multiple numbers. Sleipnir, the magical horse in Norse mythology, is a regular horse except it has 8 legs. Deities and demons in the Hindu pantheon often have multiple arms or eyes. The term has also been loosely applied to fantastic creatures that have modified limbs as well. For instance, the Giascutis is a fantastic medieval beast that resembles a sheep except its limbs vary in length. Its front legs are drastically shortened and its hind legs are drastically lengthened, which allows it to remain level as it grazes onto the inclined or steep hills. Next literary terms for today is advanced pronunciation. As the pronunciation shows, this is a term related to linguistics. In linguistics, John LGO defines this as an early instance of a historical sound change into progress. This early adoption of new pronunciation is the opposite of a retarded pronunciation in which an older pronunciation lingers in a dialect even after a newer pronunciation appears in other regions. Adventure novel, very important. Any novel in which existing events and fast paced actions are more important than character development. So, character development is no much important here. Events and fast paced actions are more important. Theme or symbolism. So, events are important rather than character development, theme, or symbolisms. Examples include Alexander Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo, Dumas, The Count of Monte Cristo, and Three Musketeers. H. Rider Haggard's King Solomon's Mines, or Edgar Rice Burroughs' Tarzan of Apes. So it's okay for today. We will discuss some more literary terms in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.